The countdown is so exciting.
Okay, cool. We are live with the function call pre-show part where we still work on stuff to get things ready for the show, but
Oh,
it's also live.
I was excited. I thought we would just like start the show. I don't remember how things go here anymore.
Um, how things go? Yeah, I mean, we have like our little outline that we probably want to finish up, but I think we can start.
Okay.
Do you want to? Do you want to? Yeah, why don't you do the opening today?
Um,
Nah, I'll do it. It's all right.
Thank you. Got me that like stage fright. Like now I don't even know what to say.
Well, we haven't started yet, so
Oh,
okay, let's
okay.
go. Right. Damn, I'm trying to come up with a good intro for the show, but I can't.
Do you ever like you hear people say like "Let's go," right?
Let's go.
Do you do
Like
you
that
do you ever see people like type that in Slack?
all the time. Yeah.
Okay. I always read it as "Let's go." So
That sounds gross.
let's go. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. Okay. This time for real though.
Mm.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first New Year's episode of the new year of the function call. That's not the whole title of the show. That's
That's
just
so
the
new.
intro. The show is the function call, but this is a new year.
Okay.
Was that clear?
Would you believe it's January?
Would you believe I did not even need to rehearse that intro? Just came out like that, all natural. All natural.
Steve.
Yeah. What's up, Grant? How was your holidays? How is your New Year's going?
None of it was as expected.
In a
Um,
good way, in a bad way?
not in a great way. Things have been weird. But no one had COVID. No one's dead. Like everything's generally okay. And things are kind of getting back to normal. Like I had one of those breaks where like you're kind of glad to get back to the normalcy of work, like the
Mm-hmm.
day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
So
like the schedule. You know what's weird is I did have my family come visit here for the holidays, and it's so weird because when my family gets together, we end up doing a lot of nothing cuz I don't know if it's my family, I don't know if it's just families in general, but like no one takes control of the agenda or the schedule or anything like that. So then everyone's just like sitting on the couch and like hanging out and we get a lot of time together, but it feels like I don't know. I don't want to say wasted time, but missed opportunities to do stuff
okay.
more interesting.
So we have the opposite problem with my family,
Mm,
right? Because we want to get together and just kind of hang out. And there are certain members of the family. I will not call my mom out on this directly, but certain members of the family that absolutely have to have everything scheduled out, and people need to be in certain places at certain times, and it is hurry up and do things. And I don't respond well to that, so I typically leave,
yeah.
which works really well for me because then like I don't have to be involved. Um, so like that's interesting that like your family has the exact other side of that coin going on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat as that person that's like, okay, let's at least get one interesting thing for like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So then we can spend most of the day doing whatever and faffing about and be in our pajamas all day. But then we're gonna have like the one interesting activity that's like gets us out of the house and gives us a reason to have a shower in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't
No,
know. I don't
I
know.
understand.
Yeah. Well, anyway, besides that, um, was there any like really good parts to your break? Did you get some time off to rest and recuperate?
No, I'm actually like recovering from my vacation currently. We've got a plan in early February. So like for work and stuff, we're supposed to launch a thing at the end of January. So like I've had this Disneyland trip planned for a while. We're gonna be in Disneyland in early February, and I am like stoked. And my wife has been like obsessively checking out like Disney blogs and like the secret places to go and the cool stuff to do and like all that kind of stuff. Like we're taking our 2.5-year-old for his first time to Disneyland. So like it's very exciting.
Is
Um,
Disneyland a good place for a 2.5-year-old?
yeah, man.
Is it not? Are they? Is it like not too early for them?
So my parents took me to Disney World when I was 5, and I don't remember it at all. And I've seen the pictures, and I'm like, why would you take a child that size like there? Like that seems ridiculous. Um, but I think it's less about him. Like he's gonna have a great time. He's gonna love it. He's he's not like a potato baby. Like he's like active and wants to run around and mess with stuff. There's enough stuff there for him to do for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think a lot of it is about like we're gonna be able to like wear him out, and it's gonna be awesome because that's a
yeah,
very difficult task to do on like a day-to-day basis without a tool like Disneyland helping you.
yeah. I'm trying to
That's
picture
what I'm
like
looking for.
yeah. I feel like if you just got like a really big bowl with really slippery sides that he could like try and crawl out and just spend hours trying to crawl up the side and he just keeps sliding back down. It's a probably more cost effective way to wear them out. And of course, I'm not saying you should actually do that. I'm just brainstorming here approaches for alternatives. Obviously, you want your child to have fun while he's
Are you
getting
saying this
tuckered
because
out.
that's what you do with Nugget? And you think that that's like a good idea?
No, I don't know. Actually, it's not a good idea. I just don't know why. Like that was the first thing that popped in my head was a picture of him trying to like crawl up the slide or the side of this like slippery bowl and then just slowly sliding back down and never quite being able to escape.
Like a little Sisyphus
Yes,
experiment for
yes,
for a two,
for a
nearly
baby.
3-year-old.
Yeah.
That's like uncharacteristically cruel of you.
Um. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes I can
Jeez.
have a cruel streak. What's funny is on Twitter, I have like two modes. I either want to just like scroll through and compliment people and just be like, "You're doing a great job. This is awesome. Good for you." And
Hmm.
then the other one is just sass. I just find the most ironic things to say or like twist people's words and just like in a silly way, not in a completely like cruel way, but just trolling. Trolling is the right word for it.
Lighthearted trolling.
Yeah, yeah. Just having fun, whatever. Well, we yeah, we've been going on. But we should actually probably get into the show.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been good chatting though. And it's good
All
catching
right.
up with you.
Talk to you later.
Yeah, now I got to talk to real people, real serious
Oh,
stuff. Now, we want to do show. Obviously, first show of the year around this time, people do a lot of the same sort of theme. So we're gonna do one as well, which
getting on that
is
bandwagon.
exactly, which is the sort of looking back at last year, looking at some highlights and some recaps and stuff, and then um, looking at what's coming up in this new year. Things that we're looking forward to, predictions, maybe some wish list stuff, resolutions, things like that.
Oh, I should start my Christmas list now. That's a good idea.
What's funny is I never really want anyone to get me anything, but
Mhm.
because people kind of insist, which is a good thing, like you want to like as a gift giver, I like giving people things, so I have to give other people the opportunity to give me stuff, right? I start just keeping a Google spreadsheet of all the things that I'm going to buy for myself eventually. And then when people are like, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" It's like, well, you can take a look inside of this things I need anyway. And it could be like just the most pragmatic, non-romantic list of things. Like, I needed underwear this year really bad. Almost all my underwear has holes in it. I didn't get underwear for Christmas. So now all my underwear still almost all of it has holes in it.
All right, that's it.
So,
I'm getting you a subscription to MeUndies. Like,
me
there's no
undies.
reason that you should. Yeah, they're gonna sponsor the show too. After
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah. Cool, cool,
you know,
cool.
you couldn't wear holes in this underwear if you tried.
Really?
No, you could. It's very
I
soft.
probably, yeah.
It's nice undies, but like that's an upsetting problem for an adult person to have.
Well, the thing is, it's because I'm lazy. You know,
It's because
I
you have
don't.
holes in your underwear out of laziness.
Yes, because I don't want to go to the store and take care of that.
So we were talking a little bit before the show, and I was asking Austin his familiarity with UPS, and I think you need to get with the times and realize that it's 2022. It's time to have
Yeah,
something
yeah,
shipped to
yeah,
your house.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't have to go to the
yeah, yeah,
store.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Let's move on. Let's get on to the show
Okay,
because I
sorry.
feel
Yeah,
like I'm just making a fool of myself now.
I'm I'm helping.
TMI. No, you're not. Okay, Grant. Let's jump into it. 2021. How'd it go for you? What were some of
Oh.
the some of the like industry like recaps or review things that stood out to you?
So like there were some definitely like predictable things that happened in 2021, and then I can't think of any like huge surprises. Like maybe the biggest surprise that I think we got in React land would be like server components, but I think that's kind of been coming with like the popularity of SSR,
Mm,
and React has kind of made a commitment to support that in a more uh, tangible way, and they absolutely have. Something that we didn't get that we had thought we might get um, is suspense.
you know what I love about how long it's taking is just how meta it is. That suspense, like you're just constantly waiting for it for the feature. I love it. It's great. I almost think like someone at React just did it. They were never going to ship it. They were just all. It was always just going to be an inside joke.
And they're never going to. Like, it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
will never
It was
ship.
like, yeah, yeah. Let's see how long we can drag this out.
Yeah, when did they announce it? April 2nd, 2019?
I don't know, but
April
yeah,
1st?
coming on 2 years. That's a long time.
It's yeah, it's upsetting. We did see a lot of movement in like server rendering, edge stuff. I think like edge workers and stuff happening at the edge. Like, we have a whole show talking about like those whole tools that are becoming more available.
Mm,
Um, but I think that's becoming a much more like mainstream and plausible idea for like greenfield projects or what have you. Like I think they've established themselves as not just this ethereal, ephemeral uh, thing.
yeah,
They're real tools for
yeah.
real projects, real developers.
Oh gosh, here we go. Bring on
Uh,
the gatekeeping. Um, so yeah, I think that the whole like SSR stuff, the industry kind of went on this like pendulum swing way over to like thick clients, which is my favorite term.
now,
My clients are thick with
describe this thick client to
yeah,
me.
my clients are. Never mind. I'm not even going to say it.
I think
Uh,
you already did. It's
I
too
already
late.
did. That's fine. We'll just move on. We'll edit it out. Just
Yeah.
kidding. Again, too lazy. I have too many holes in my underwear to edit stuff out. Is that too much? Is that too much?
Yes,
We'll edit that part out.
the
Just
line
kidding.
was way back there.
So I think yeah, so the whole pendulum swing went over to these like thick clients, which was, you have all all of your state happening on the client, all of your routing happening on the client, and all of this like really heavy JavaScript stuff. And I think in this last year, you really started to see that pendulum swing the other way, where you have um, a lot more focus on these SSR things, which don't necessarily avoid thick clients because you still have that right hydration story. But I think part of it was the focus of we can't just do everything on the client because we need the better performance, we need the SEO stuff. Um, and then also there was the emphasis on even beyond SSR going to statics, the static site renderers and things like that. And then in this last year, you even saw taking it even further to the static site generators that don't ship any, they're like default no JavaScript, like Astro.
Yeah.
And in order to like add some of that JavaScript into your bundle, you basically have to like opt in, which I think is interesting. We also have some players like Gatsby that was traditionally or originally a static site uh, generator, and they kind of went towards the Next.js approach where now they're offering some sort of cloud service, right?
Yeah. So there's so much there. Like there is a lot of there with Gatsby. And there's a lot of there with Next too. And I feel like between those two frameworks, like we could there's just so much content there. Um, but in general, I think there's a convergence, right? Where your kind of point of the thick client, there are solutions moving in both directions. And one of those directions is to go static. Another direction is to offload that uh, onto the server. There's similar solutions. Somebody in the chat was asking about like micro front ends. This is a similar like solution to some of those problems, but it's kind of a different architectural choice that can stand on its own, you know, that isn't necessarily a response to these problems. It's kind of a potentially like
Yeah,
team
that's
based
like
or
a
developer based. Like there's a whole lot there as well. But between the main kind of meta frameworks, I think the biggest thing that happened this year was Remix Run coming out punching and saying like, this isn't just a third way. This is we are changing the stack,
yeah.
which incorporates like a lot of the native platform, which to be totally transparent, I don't understand. Like I don't know how all that stuff works. They're doing some things with Remix Run that I think a lot of progressive enhancement advocates are a huge fan of. So you were talking about like shipping no
Woo!
JavaScript. Um, a lot of people who want thinner clients, they don't like that thick client. I'm okay with a thick client. I think they
I
make
like a thick
sense
client.
in specific scenarios like web applications. I think they make sense. But Remix Run and moving things to different parts of the edge or cloud functions or whatever will make an experience better. Now, I think they've abstracted away a lot of the complication of development with that. That's why these sorts of solutions were only seen by like mega engineering teams. Like these are not necessarily new solutions, but they're not like accessible to, you know.
You're talking the micro front end stuff.
No. I'm talking Remix Run and
Okay.
the way that they've changed the stack from it's either on the server or it's on the client. Now it happens in sort of a fluid way across all of these areas. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to dig into it much, but it definitely looks cool. I think they had a really interesting approach to like going closed source, getting funding, and then going open source with it, which is cool.
Yeah, I wonder how the original funders feel about that. Like, I haven't seen any like, uh, I haven't seen anybody like pissed about it.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
don't know.
Other big industry stuff that happened. I would like to get your take on the whole like. I don't even know if we should talk about it. Maybe you can
Well,
already
now I
guess
have
what
to
it
know.
is. Yeah.
What's up?
Monkey JPEGs.
Oh, we may want to avoid it.
Yeah.
However, like I'm a huge fan of let's see, w- wheels that have not been reinvented.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
let's just get on it real quick, right? Like
okay.
a big recap for last year was the explosion of the NFT space, particularly. So blockchain has been around
Mhm.
longer. Blockchain is definitely saw some big. Well, blockchain saw some big gains in popularity last year. As you know, part of that, crypto saw some big gains. Um, and tangential to that, you had this like NFT space that just like blew up.
I've heard this all
And
referred to as Web 3.
yeah, it's all related. Yep.
Right, right.
So that was a thing. I guess as far as a recap goes, that's all we need to say because that's all
Is
historical.
it is
We can,
absolutely a thing that happened for
yeah,
sure.
we can. I think we should come back on that in the the next year's predictions and stuff.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. Ooh, that's a good idea.
did you take any part in crypto Web three?
I
You
have
got
some
any monkey
Bitcoin.
photos? You got some
Um,
Bitcoin? Did you
I have
get
some
any
Bitcoin.
NFTs?
I did not because I like funges.
Hmm.
I am a
Yes.
funger.
Yes. You're a
Hmm.
fun guy.
I'm a
Guy.
fungi.
Yeah, I did not get any, but I did really enjoy uh, the response to a lot of the NFT stuff, where people just like right click and save, and there was a lot of funny discourse between in that space altogether.
It's
And
funny because you're definitely the kind of person that I imagine at least just likes to kind of watch and observe those things and find them entertaining. Versus me, I get kind of enraged. Like I read into and assume and get very upset.
yeah, I don't know. There's some room for that. Like there's. It's funny because just like at the end of last year, I started seeing a lot of, I don't know, hypocrisy in that space where, well, I guess I don't need to try and be too diplomatic about it. Like there's just like a lot of things that these decentralized approaches, as much as decentralization is cool and interesting, and like true decentralization can be awesome, so many implementations of blockchain applications, or even like the whole NFT thing,
Mhm.
it's all, not all of it, but so much of it depends on centralized technology, or people that complain about, oh, my wallet got hacked and my monkey got stolen. Like there should be like the FBI should be able to do something, or like there's just some things where centralized systems actually work great.
No, man, but that's how censorship happens, and censorship is essentially wrong until somebody says something they don't like, and then they should be censored. So there's at a previous job, my boss at this job and I were in San Francisco, and we went to a meetup for people who were into decentralized stuff. This is far prior to this is like 3 years ago, maybe. And I found it very interesting. And the most interesting part of it was I started asking questions about like what this technology rides on, and it all rides on centralized systems, as you kind of uh, discussed. And I said, well, what about ham radios? Ham radios and the band like the bands that were public, and that has shrunk, and that's like a huge loss for everybody. It's a totally different topic. Um, but ham radios are really the only frontier where I think decentralized anything makes sense. There's one problem with that. The equipment is not accessible, and there's not enough people to support any sort of like blockchain agreement system. Like it just, no, it won't work. Um, the only reason that it seems like blockchain can work now is that everybody has a cell phone in their pocket, which acts as a node in the blockchain to do some sort of compute for it. When you start to break that down, you realize that this is, and this is like my entire opinion, it's a bad solution to a problem that has been solved very efficiently with very good technology that we use every day.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll see.
yeah.
We'll see. This is something that I am like, I have some opinions. Have some experience,
Okay.
and totally ready to be wrong about some of these things. And right now, I'm just kind of watching. So I don't
See,
know.
I
I
get
can't
riled up.
think.
I can't be censored.
Well, I think this is not the show to go too deep into that.
You're right.
This is a recap. So I don't know. Was there anything else? I guess
That was a
besides.
recap of my rage from
Yeah,
this year.
we you know what, we're about due for another Grant rant.
I think that was it.
Yeah. But so besides unless there's some other like big industry things that stood out to you, was there anything that 2021 had specifically for Grant Glidewell in your world? Any
Oh,
highlights
it
or
was absolutely
significant?
wild. It was
Yeah,
super wild for me. Like it was very good. Um,
good.
so like at the end of 2019, um, my sister was diagnosed with cancer, and so the entire year last year, she's like doing chemo and all of this, and she's in Texas. Like we're, you know, prior to this, pretty much like not that close. Like we talk once in a while, but not that close. But through her cancer treatment, and she's doing well now, and she's in remission and not having to do any follow up chemo. Um, you know that has been kind of a theme through the year that has, I don't want to say like set the tone, but it's definitely had an impact on like how the year has felt. Um,
In what sense? Like recognizing the fragility of life or recognizing the importance of relationships or just kind
Yeah,
of
all
having
of
a
all of
damper.
that. Also, like validating all of my hatred of the healthcare system.
Mm.
Like just a, a lot of the kind of familial frustration that I shared at the beginning of the episode really like plays into that. And
Mm.
she's like on board with it. Like we're both quite irritated by the same things. So like, yeah, it played a bigger role than I think I might have assumed. Anyway, she's well.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of that, like work's been great. Uh, I started working on a new team, and my role in that team is basically exactly what I wanted to do when I started uh, working as a software engineer a few years ago. Which, like, I had no idea how long it would take me to get there, but now that I'm there, I'm having to think like, oh, well, where do I want to go from here? Um, and it's a nice problem to have. So
Yeah.
like lots of career growth. Um, I started a mono repo in this project we're working on, which is something like 2 years ago, Grant would be like, "What are you thinking? You're making the wrong choice." And he might be right. We have yet to figure it out. I don't know.
Just wait to talk to 2 years from now, Grant, to see.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just have to let it all play out. It was the right choice in the moment. So shut up 2 years ago, Grant. You know nothing. Um, did a lot of biking. I've talked about that on the show some.
Yeah, you did some
Uh,
races.
yeah, did some
That's fun
racing.
to watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna that is that is not stopping. That's becoming a problem. Um, but I failed to do something that I think you actually did this last year, which is pretty cool. I failed to buy a house. I
That's
tried.
not something to feel too bad about. That's like
It
a
was a rough year to try and buy a house. Like I'm not hurting about it. I mean, I'm irritated by it, but like, we're okay
yeah, first world problems, man.
for
Not
sure.
even first world problem. That's like bougie problems. Buying a house is tough.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, currently nearly impossible, even though seems like plenty of people are doing it. Everything sells very, very quickly right now.
Yeah. You know what's really frustrating about that is how much real estate is going to a smaller percentage of people, and
True.
how much that just negatively affects housing and stuff. And I don't know. We don't need to get too political on this show, but
You're not wrong. That class gap is getting wider, and
yeah,
it's pretty
that
nasty
sucks. Like that's a sucky thing.
for sure.
I hope that like my ideals are that everyone should be able to afford a house and live in a nice place and feel safe and
Yeah.
be healthy and have a good life.
I I think anyone who disagrees with that is a monster of a human being.
Yeah, I think that gets nuanced though. I'm
Oh,
sure. I
no,
don't
we
know.
know
I
it's
can't picture why, but I just always have this opinion that everyone is the protagonist of their own film or their own story. Like when you watch a movie and you see the bad guy and they're just like so purely evil, like that's not what real that's not real. That's not where like bad guys come from, right? One of the I guess good examples of a good bad guy that is more realistic is maybe like Thanos or Bane from Batman, that is like these guys have motives in which in their story, they are the protagonist.
I thought you were going to say Elon Musk.
No, that guy is the antagonist.
Okay.
No, no, I
Oh
don't know.
man.
I've never
You,
shared a drink with him, so he might be really a swell guy, but yeah.
I have doubts. You'll be a little heartened to know that like the cartoons that I show my kid and the theme that I see in a lot of the like TV Y rated stuff is exactly that. It's the superheroes aren't just out there fighting bad guys. They're helping the bad guy meet whatever need isn't being met and like helping them figure out how to get what they want without being destructive or harmful to other people. Like it's a nuanced, like very human message to somebody who is like very, very tiny. And I
Yeah, that's
absolutely
cool.
love it.
It's like
It's
let's
so good.
not defeat this person. Let's help get them what they need in a way
Right.
that is sustainable for everyone.
Yeah. It's wild to see that. Because like that's G.I. Joe didn't have that for me.
No, there were some cool shows from when I was young that did not have that message, but I'm so glad that, yeah, I
It's
don't
out
know.
there now. Okay.
Yeah.
We're so far off track.
Oh, it's all right. It's a recap show. Like it's all right.
Okay.
We can have these once in a while. But yeah, let's get on back on track.
Yeah.
Some highlights for me. Yeah, you mentioned that like I was able to buy a house. That was really awesome. We basically just got really lucky, and it's awesome. Uh, it's difficult and stressful, and there's a lot of extra work that goes into my weekends now because of it. But I have to recognize that I'm very fortunate to be in that position. Um, and on top of that, last year I was dealing with, well, I got a new job last year, which I'm very grateful for. Also, a position of privilege and opportunity. So, counting my lucky stars. But that came as the result of dealing with some pretty bad burnout. Um, so I got to experience that. There was a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things that I guess I wasn't keeping in check. I wasn't maintaining the agency of my own career to where a lot of responsibilities uh, were coming my way, or like direction was happening in my career that I wasn't keeping the wherewithal to keep at bay or to address and avoid.
Okay. Yeah.
So just too much was coming to me, too much of the stuff that doesn't give me energy and just like drains me. And at the end, I was just like, not having a good time.
Yeah.
And, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. So I had to do something about that. So yeah, I took a little bit of time off, which is fun. I've been working on some side projects, which may contribute to some of that burnout a little bit, but also is kind of work that energizes me at times. So it's a little bit of give and take. And I started my new job getting into developer advocacy for the first time, which I'm very excited about.
I think you're gonna be so good at that. I mean, like you are good at that, but like I think it's such a good fit for you.
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll see. Man, you know what? That's a problem that I have is my attitude around good things happening is always like, well, let's not get too excited. So got to fix that.
I'm stoked for you, and I'm confident that you're gonna do rad stuff with this new job. Like,
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like my recap. Oh no, you know what? Also, Nugget had a surgery. He had a pretty big surgery, and he's been recovering. He's been seeing his a physical therapist, who is the only person that he humps, which is kind of funny. It's the only time.
I don't know what to say about that.
I mean, you don't have to say anything. I just thought it was an interesting point. And he also won the cutest patient award because she gave out 70 superlatives to her patients, and Nugget was the cutest. So pretty proud of my little guy.
It's very cute. Yes.
Yeah, he's a cute dog. But yeah, let's I don't know. That was 2021. 2021 also kind of sucked for a lot of reasons for a lot of people, I'm sure. And we're still wearing masks and still going to be wearing masks into 2022. So
did you write any? So like, I've started this year. I ended last year writing like a blog post to kind of summarize my stuff. I am not publishing it. It's just for me. Do you do anything like that?
I mean, we're kind of doing it now.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Like I have done prediction, blog posts in the past. Actually, I did one last year. I should look it up really quick.
Yeah, that's interesting because there's a lot of like prediction shows, and I guess at the end of the year they kind of go back and review that. What their predictions were. Yeah. Like the previous year, like the end of 2019, beginning of 2021, I was just not gonna write anything. Like absolutely certain the world is ending. I still have that certainty, but like it's gonna end so much more slowly than I had ever thought. Like we'll be okay for a while.
We'll be all right. Maybe by the time React 6 Suspense comes out.
By the time Suspense drops.
Yeah. We'll be good for that, at least that long. That's
for sure. One more amazing thing happened in 2021, and that's we got our first 5-star review on.
Oh, that's right.
Which I didn't know about until you just wrote it in the document.
Yeah, you did. I told you, but that's okay that you forget.
Oh, I forgot about it. I got excited about it all again, like it was new.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's like hearing good news for the first time, the second time. We got a really nice 5-star review. So if anyone listening, if you have enjoyed the show, even if you haven't, I'm just gonna say, like, just toss us a 5-star review. We only have one. We could use a couple more. Great way to support the show.
There's our first 3-star review, just directly telling us don't shill for 5-star reviews.
Yeah. Now,
that's, if you got that's a Grant thing to do. Don't
if
be
you
like
got
me.
A 3-star review, just keep it to yourself. All right, we don't want to hear it.
Ruthless.
Yeah, let's move on to the upcoming year, 2022. What do you think 2022 has in store for the industry? So predictions.
for the industry, keeping it focused on things that matter to people who might care about this show. I think meta frameworks. So um, Next.js and Gatsby and these like meta frameworks around React specifically. That's where I live. Um, they're going to be probably more in flux than they have been over the previous years. Like I think they have destabilized at this point. Looking at what um, what Vercel has been doing and looking at Gatsby and some of their launches and some of what their focus is, um, I think that space is just much less predictable. Whereas
Mm,
previously, it's like, yeah, this is definitely like a growing space. They're all very good. Remix Run being put into the mix, so to speak, um, I think helps to further destabilize and push those other frameworks to do things that they're not comfortable with. And so what I mean by like these are not going to be predictable is like they are going to release stuff that one nobody asked for. They're already doing that. But two, they're going to release stuff that everybody asked for, but it's not going to be that great.
mm,
So like there's a pretty well understood like open source problem where when you start giving the people what they ask for and what they want, your product is diminished by that, right?
mm,
Whereas a very like hyper focused product that does what it does very well, which is one of the things that I really like about React and the React ecosystem, is it allows for that, right? It's a very sharp instrument. These tools are becoming more and more blunt. They do SSR, they run servers, they run lambdas, they run edge functions. Will they'll do it all. If you spend the time to set them up right, and if you don't have needs beyond what those limitations are that they set when you select your specific output type. I'm looking at you, Next.js, with static rendering.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess we kind of didn't mention something that we had on our notes, which was some of the key hires that the Vercel was making.
Key
And
hires, like just a whole jangly janitor's loop worth of keys going on there. Like
yeah,
they just hired everybody.
yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, I thought they were going to hire you for a moment there.
Nope.
um, yeah.
It's
So, well,
funny. Like my
those
offer
hires,
must have
like,
got lost in the email.
yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting with things like Rich Harris going over there. Like, I think on with the prediction stuff and sort of the less stability in some of the established players. I think we're going to see some movement away from React. Um,
I kind of
more
hope
movement,
so. I'm
more
with you on
movement
that.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Svelte has been picking up a lot of good steam
Mm-hmm.
with Rich Harris going over to Vercel full time.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to have a lot more runway to work on that. It'll also be interesting on the flip side to see how a company essentially picking up and funding that project theoretically through hiring Rich, how that may have an impact on the project. May or may not, right? Like it might have the impact of accelerating the growth, or it might have the impact of like influencing the direction, or both.
This is so. You could disagree with me if you like, but this is the beauty of a project like React coming out of a huge company like Facebook, right? Love them or hate them, they don't care about React, and they don't have to. It was a solution that they developed for a problem that they had, and they were wise enough to open source it and strengthen it that way, right? I think the result of that has been very good. What we're
Oh,
seeing
I
with Vercel picking up Rich Harris and absorbing some of the cost of developing Svelte, which needs to happen. Absolutely. Like I don't have a problem with that. It's a very different proposition there than where React comes from, which I think has helped it have such a long and healthy life.
so React, Facebook does care about React deeply. In fact, they built React to solve Facebook's problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
React is not an open source from the ground up solution. And that's kind of my
Right.
point, is that when you opt into using React, you're opting into a tool that was developed to solve Facebook's problems.
Right.
Whereas Svelte was not. Svelte was designed to solve a lot of the de facto web problems. You
It
know,
was built to solve React's problems.
no, it was built to solve like web application problems, applications that
Mhm.
you've not like Facebook specific web applications, like just
Right.
very
Right.
general, right? Like it was built to build these little tiny miniature web apps within was it Wall Street Journal or something like that,
Okay.
wherever Rich was for his for like in-depth journaling things, right? Like one-off little applications that need to be embedded onto a web page.
Mhm.
Very web centric, not very Facebook web app centric.
Right. I don't hear you saying anything different from what I was saying.
I understood that you were saying that React uh like was not particularly influenced by Facebook's needs.
No,
Where I think
it was created to
entirely is.
solve it was created to solve their problems.
Exactly. And when you
And
use it, you're using a tool that is has a very specific design.
yes and no.
It's designed for
Uh,
their needs, right?
it was designed incredibly well to
It was.
be highly modular, right? Which
Yeah.
is which is the blessing and the curse of React. Now, if you were to talk about something like Redux, right? This is solving a problem that most people don't have on the internet. Um, like most people building websites don't need to use Redux.
Just
You
use
could go an
WordPress.
entire career without, huh?
Just use WordPress.
Yeah, just use WordPress instead of Redux. I'm gonna
I mean,
start
most people on the
troll
internet, dude,
posting that on like
most people on the internet, 43% of the internet uses WordPress. So
how does 50% of the internet use WordPress and Drupal and some other and like jQuery? Like, how does
happily,
half of the internet use technologies that I've never had to touch in my career?
happily, because because it just like
Happily is
it
probably the
solves
answer.
because it the thing is because it solves the problem so easily that you can move on in the time that it takes you to build one app in React. I've built two in WordPress, therefore, or I guess that would give me 30, 60% of the web or something like that. You get what I'm saying is like the speed at which you can build a website in WordPress allows it to grow faster than the speed at which you can build a website in React.
For websites, I don't disagree at all.
Yeah.
I totally
Anyway,
agree.
we're like way off topic. We're not going to be able to finish in time with all these awesome predictions and resolutions if we keep
Right,
talking about
right.
it.
What
Back
other
on the show.
predictions do you have?
My predictions. So I think V is going to be more popular. I'm putting some of my eggs in that basket. I think that we're going to see a lot more of these main frameworks and meta frameworks adopting that instead of Webpack or transitioning from Webpack
I
to
really hope
Vite.
so. I
Uh,
really hope so.
yeah. And I think we are going to see some more changes to applications supporting things like edge compute. Like I think that we just started to see some of that at the end of last year, and I think that with Cloudflare and Fastly and Akamai and uh, I think AWS has some edge stuff. Google is I don't think Google is there yet, but IBM is there and some other big names. I think that hopefully we'll see some sort of standards coalesce around edge compute. And once we have that, it'll be easier for some of these frameworks that do like SSR or server generated. We'll start to
Hmm.
see maybe some like edge generated uh, applications.
Yeah. I I I think that's a very hopeful future. I hope that the standards around that
Yeah, that
around
may be
edge
further
compute.
than this year.
Yeah, I like we're still working on that with with cloud functions with lambdas, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, you did see like a really interesting like standard come up through AWS with S3, and now S3 is like a standard that other storage providers follow. So Wasabi's one, Cloudflare announced their S3 compatible storage. I want to say like Azure and Google have like S3 compatible storage, which is an interesting approach because it's like a standard that was started in one place, just kind of like everyone's just like, yep, looks good to me. We'll just follow that same standard. And then that's like, cool. Now, I mean, that's where everyone, well, all of us as developers, as consumers win because it's like, I don't need to write different resolvers for, sending this data to different places.
yeah. And then if you have to change providers for whatever reason, you drop in a different SDK, the API is near enough the same. It's no longer an issue.
Yeah.
Migration pain is lower.
Yeah. Standards for the win.
I'm into it.
You got any other predictions you want to throw out there, or should we jump into resolutions?
Let's jump into resolutions. My resolution for this year, 3840 by 1600.
You're dumb. You're dumb. That's something I would say, and I wouldn't even say that.
That's deeply insulting.
That's all right. Cool. I'm glad. What is that? Like a super wide?
Oh, it's an ultra wide.
Ultra wide?
Super wide.
Super wide is
Super
not a
ultra
thing.
wide.
Yeah.
Ultra super duper wide.
Impressively wide. Cool. How about things that you would like to accomplish within this year?
I would like to make at least 3 more embarrassing puns that embarrass you
Oh,
specifically.
okay.
Yeah. So like
You
I've
can do
nailed
it.
one.
You can do it. One is done. 2 to go.
Okay. 2 more. What about you?
You know what? Actually, I want to throw out another prediction really quick. Is I think that remote work is not going. I think we're not going back to the office.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's not a prediction. I think that is playing out currently.
Yeah. Let's see. My prediction or my resolutions for this year. I would like to publish the book that I wanted to publish last year around HTML forms. I kind of like decided not to, and then at the end of last year, I was like, you know what? Nah, I should. So I think I got my second wind. I think I just need to publish it and put it out there and see. I would like to speak at least 6 conferences,
That's a
which could be
very high number.
virtual. What's up?
That's a very high number.
6?
Yeah.
Well, I'm in dev advocacy now, man. I don't think 6 is too much.
No, it's your job. Never mind. It's not
Yeah,
enough.
I think it's
You're
reasonable.
lazy. You need to work harder.
Yeah, I just want to work 6 days out of the year. That's it. I want to finish this library that I'm working on called Particle CSS. We've talked about it a couple times.
I always thought it was pronounced Particles.
Why would it's a word that exists? Why would you think it is particles?
He's visibly angry. I wanted to call it Particles.
Okay, I guess that's 2 for the year so far. You're on a roll. That's great. Yeah, and this is like a very low bar resolution because it's pretty much there. Like it's working. It's in order. I think I really just need to add support for Vue and Svelte components, and then I think at that point it'll be ready to be published. Because then, like, once that support is there, then the whole like static site generator support is going to be there, I think. And I guess I need to also support Webpack, but right now it works for Vite, so that's cool.
Just support the future.
Yeah. And my last resolution is I am going to find a therapist and meet with therapists more regularly.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, as much as this is our dudes therapy session, this just isn't cutting it for me, Grant. So what I'm
I am
saying is, I
not
think we should
here.
see other people.
I'm not here to meet your needs. Um, and I'm glad that that's apparent to you now.
Yeah. You meet some of my needs, but I think in addition to seeing you, I want to see other people. I want to be poly
You're
talkist. Poly what's a word
you're
for it? I
this
want to
just
talk to
reminds
other
me
people.
of like some tweet that you sent before polywork was like a well-known thing. Is you sent some like weird poly tweet out, and I was like, what is happening?
What happened to polywork?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was too bad. I that's not too bad. I don't feel too bad for that. I mean, sorry if you're a polywork person. Let's
It
talk. Maybe you
seemed
can let me know how you're doing. It's been a while.
yeah, it seemed neat. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got like some very specific goals. My goals are very nebulous, and I think that makes them easier for me to meet. I don't know.
got to make
You're
smart goals, man.
I do.
Specific, measurable, action, time.
Um, I've been living my entire life making vague goals, and I'm fine with it. Like it works pretty well for me. I think of them a little bit more as like guiding principles or philosophies, like directions that I want to go than like very specific things. Because the specific things that I try to do, um, even if they're smart, um, like my opportunities change and I make better decisions in the short term with like kind of a broad vision. So like all I want to do this year is help others grow, right?
What about
Like,
how many rides you want to do this year? Races.
oh, I can get real specific about that stuff because I have measurement, right?
Three, five races. Three.
Uh,
Too many?
so I'm
Too
going to do
few.
probably 3,000 miles.
Whoa.
So I did 2,500 miles this last year, and I'm going to do 3,000, which is a lot because I do not ride a road bike anymore at all. I rode a road bike like half the year last year.
Mm.
Um, so I'm gonna do 3,000 miles this year, but I'm already scheduled for a race in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna do the Archipelago Ride, which is a 50-mile run or a 50-mile not race, it's a ride, but it's another like super endurance thing or not super endurance, just an endurance ride.
It's one of
In,
those enduro where you don't actually do the hard part, you just do the easy part down the hill.
that's downhill racing,
No, you said it
and
was enduro where like the machine carries you up the hill and then you just ride downhill like several hills in a row.
so enduro racing specifically, you have to climb. You have to climb with your bike, but only the downhill is timed,
Oh, okay,
right?
got it.
Yeah. Whereas downhill, you can take a lift. You don't have to pedal up. You're
Gotcha.
never expected to pedal up downhill because your
Can you
bike
just
weighs
walk
like,
up on it? I don't know.
dude, it's a long way up. You want a chairlift.
Yeah,
I should do some of that. But yeah, like with that stuff, I feel like I can get more specific because I've built up some metrics. But like in general with my career, like the stuff with metrics doesn't matter so much to me. So I want to
yeah,
help others grow. And I want to work more in public, which is something I've been working on in my current role for quite a while, where like everything that I'm doing is set up to be open sourced. Everybody that I work with wants to contribute to the community in that way. And so
oh,
like a lot
cool.
of the solutions that we're working on are like targeted specifically like, hey, this is a problem I know a lot of people have. Let's solve it and make it public. So
Yeah,
like, yeah,
open source is fun. Open source is hard.
it is. It is. That's why I like to do it in a way where like we're open sourcing stuff that could be useful for other people, but we're not necessarily obliged to do anything about problems if they have it. It's we're
That's like,
we're like open sourcing a pattern library
yeah,
where like people can see, okay, this is how they're using like emotion in this like weird build system. We can kind of copy some of these patterns, but there are
gotcha,
some libraries coming out, but
gotcha.
nothing
Cool.
that's going to
Pretty,
be
yeah, low pressure
groundbreaking.
open source. That's great.
That's my favorite way to do it.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, let's finish up here. Do you want to do some shout outs before we go, or
Oh,
we
whoa, we
can
do those.
we do
Um,
those?
yeah, yeah.
I can go first.
Oh, yeah, do that.
uh, yeah, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna give a shout out to volunteering. If you have never volunteered, it's a really awesome thing. I celebrate my birthday in December. It's like a really like I just don't like December birthdays as someone that has it. If you love it, cool. But my December birthday rolls around and I'm like, I just want to go camping, and you just can't go camping in December. So one, I decided I'm going to start celebrating my half birthday. I'm going camping in June from now on for my
Nice.
birthday. Explicitly going to say like I'll have invites and everything, and just be like, no, this is my birthday, my half birthday thing. It's my day, people. Camping.
Oh, tell me it falls directly on my birthday. When in
I don't
June is
think
your
so.
half birthday?
We can figure it out
Okay.
later. I don't want to share that information.
Sure.
But on my birthday, every year, I've started a tradition of volunteering, with the exception of last year because of pandemic stuff. But
Hmm.
this year, I found some volunteering opportunities that was outdoors with an organization here in Portland called Friends of Trees. We went around and planted some trees, which was fun, and it's very rewarding. I recommend anyone that's thought about volunteering stuff, like get out there. Or not thought about it. Um, it's a great way to get involved with your community, make a difference in people's lives very directly, and I always feel good when I'm done. So
That is so sweet. And all of my like shout outs are to like spend money on some stupid
do
stuff.
it, man. Just do it. I do spend money shout outs too. You gave a shout out for snakes once.
That's true. Dude,
That's
snakes are.
generous.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Ever since then, we've been buddies.
Yeah.
Me and the snakes.
There you
We're
go.
doing all right now. Um, no, but my shout out is going to be to the Pros Closet, which is a website that allows you to sell your bicycle or buy a used bicycle that has a company that's reputable with good like master mechanics backing up what you have bought is what they claim. Um, really, really cool concept for somebody like me who uh, has a bicycle habit. It's super, super useful. It's allowed me to try lots of different bikes without losing money over the pandemic, which is awesome. Love it.
Cool.
Yeah,
What
the
was it
Pros
called
Closet.
again?
The Pros
Pros
Closet.
Closet. Cool.
Which honestly, like reading the name of that website, when they bought that domain name, I don't know if that was their original intent, right?
Yeah, I don't associate closet with bikes,
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe they
but
started out just with like clothing, which would be kind of gross. Like used bike clothing is not something that anybody should do.
well, maybe it wasn't bike stuff to begin with. It was,
Different kind of pro.
uh, yeah, I don't know. Another professional, a
Some other
professional dresser.
profession. A professional dresser that has deep closet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is a story you should get the answer to.
I need to know. All right.
But for now, that's it for the show. Grant, thanks for hanging out with me for the last year. It's been a lot of fun. I love doing the show. I like getting to talk to you. And
Aw.
people listening, thank you for being a part of the show as well. I see some numbers coming in. I feel really good when people enjoy the show. So, feel free to reach out anytime to Grant or myself. We'd love to hear from you.
I'm much nicer on Twitter than I am on the show. I don't think that's true, actually.
That's also not saying a whole lot.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm just an asshole all the time.
Nah, just kidding. You're great. I love you. All right, here's to a good 2022. I'll see you next time, Grant, and we'll catch you next time, listener.
Bye.